Kyoto is considered the cultural capital of Japan and is a major tourist destination. Is home to numerous Buddhist temples, Shinto shrines, palaces and gardens. Kyoto is also the home of Kyoto Animation, and this is where our horror story begins. In 2019, the Kyoto studio was struck by a devastating tragedy, resulting in numerous injuries and profound emotional distress for hundreds. The devastating Kyoto Animation fire, which occurred in July 2019, tragically shook the world. This horrific incident took place at the company's studio in Kyoto, Japan, claiming the lives of many talented individuals and leaving countless others injured. The global animation community mourned the loss of lives and the impact on the industry. It served as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of creative spaces and the importance of safety measures in the workplace. Shinji Aoba, the individual responsible for the Kyoto Animation fire, was a 41-year-old man hailing from Saitama, Japan. Prior to the incident, Aoba had grappled with mental health challenges and was known to lead a nomadic existence. He had a prior criminal record, having been convicted of theft and serving time in prison. Aoba reportedly sent a novel to Kyoto Animation, which he claimed was stolen and used as the basis for one of their anime productions. However, Kyoto Animation denied receiving any such novel from him. It's unclear whether this claim was a factor in his decision to target the studio in the arson attack. In the months preceding the attack, Aoba had allegedly sent threatening emails to Kyoto Animation, expressing dissatisfaction with one of their productions. However, the content of these emails did not suggest any specific plans for violence. There are reports that Shinji Aoba had conflicts with his neighbors prior to the Kyoto Animation arson attack. Some neighbors reported that he had made threatening remarks or engaged in aggressive behavior towards them. These conflicts might have been indicative of underlying issues or tensions in Aoba's personal life, though the exact nature and extent of these interactions are not fully documented. On the day of the fire, July 18, 2019, Aoba traveled to Kyoto, carrying containers of gasoline. He arrived at Kyoto Animation Studio and reportedly poured gasoline around the building and entered the front door carrying about 40 liters of gasoline, then doused the area and several employees before igniting it. Before setting it on fire, the blaze quickly spread, engulfing the studio and causing extensive damage. Aoba was apprehended by police at the scene and was later hospitalized for severe burns he sustained during the attack. He was formally arrested in May 2020 after recovering from his injuries and has since been indicted on multiple charges. During the fire at Kyoto Animation, the blaze quickly spread throughout the studio's building. Tragically, the fire resulted in the loss of many lives and caused numerous injuries. In total, 36 people were killed in the arson attack, and many others were injured, some critically. The incident shocked Japan and the global animation community, leading to an outpouring of support for the victims and their families, as well as widespread condemnation of the senseless act of violence. The incident, one of Japan's deadliest in recent decades, killed mostly young artists and shocked the anime world. Shinji Aoba, 45, pleaded guilty to the attack, but his lawyers had sought a lighter sentence on grounds of mental incompetence. Judges rejected this, however, ruling that Aoba knew what he was doing. "I have determined that the defendant was not mentally insane or weak at the time of the crime," Chief Judge Masuda said on Thursday at Kyoto District Court. "The death of 36 people is extremely serious and tragic. The fear and pain of the deceased victims was indescribable. Many of the animation staff, young artists, were killed after being trapped on the upper floors of the studio as the fire spread. The attack was one of the deadliest cases in recent decades and sparked national mourning in Japan. Prosecutors had demanded the death penalty for Aoba, saying he was motivated to attack the studio after believing his work had been stolen. He said Kyoto Animation, known as KyoAni, had plagiarized a novel he entered into their contest. In July 2019, he burst into the studio during a workday, splashing petrol on the ground floor and setting it alight while repeatedly shouting "Drop Dead." He later said during his guilty plea in September 2023 that he did not think so many people would die. "I felt I had no other option but to do what I did," he said at the time. "I feel tremendously sorry, and the feeling includes a sense of guilt." Ayoba himself suffered burns to over 90% of his body in the fire, and was only arrested after he had recovered from operations. The delusion that Kyoani's studio had plagiarized his work influenced his motivation, prosecutors had told the court. But they said he was not controlled by such delusions and had full capacity and understanding of his actions. On Thursday, the judge read out a lengthy reasoning with victim testimonies before announcing the verdict. More than half of the animation studio's 70-strong workforce was killed in the event, and another 32 injured. Some of them saw their colleagues engulfed in flames, and some of them are suffering from psychological effects, and they are tormented by feelings of guilt and remorse, said Judge Masuda. Families of the victims were seen in the courtroom, with many visibly emotional as the judge read out the details of Ayoba's crime. The outlet reported that Ayoba kept his head bowed as the judge read out the death penalty sentence.